so much for joining us. My name's Lisa Huber, and you're listening to the Divine I Am Broadcast Network, where we bring spiritual and metaphysical awareness from the heart to the public. And it's my pleasure tonight to introduce my friend Deanna Divine. Deanna is a soul guide and galactic shaman in service for others to activate their multidimensional potential as a shaman, quantum soul dance teacher, quantum hypnosis healing therapist, a crystalline soul healer, Reiki Master, and ProcessWork and family constellation facilitator. Deanna is able to weave all the quantum shamanic and psychology tools and offer customized approaches to each of her clients. She founded Source Language Institute to teach and activate others to the purest communication via source codes, also known as light language. As a multidimensional channel, she is here for you to integrate and align to your soul, to your higher self. Whoops, popped out of that again, guys. I do that all the time. Okay. She's here for you to integrate and align to your soul, to your higher self, activate your DNA and light codes, and create the path of the heart to follow your true soul calling for consciousness expansion and growth. Deanna's soul mission is to help and you to remember who you are and embrace your mastery as a dimensional, powerful being. Welcome, Deanna.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. What a pleasure.
Oh, I'm so excited. I just feel ever since I met, I have a dear friend, Louise Rhodes, and then we had Fabian on, Fabian Lou.
Oh,
Yes,
wonderful.
last
Yes,
week. So she said she's going to catch the replay because, as some of you may know, she's in Australia.
she
Um,
is.
so I'm so excited. I just feel like I've met my soul family with light language. It's just so beautiful. And how I found Deanna was in a clubhouse room, and I just was drawn to it. And everyone in there, she had just orchestrating. Everybody was singing and talking, speaking their own soul language, and I just was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
beautiful!"
So you
It was,
popped into our soul communication on Tuesday night.
I
Yeah.
I sure did. Now, is it every Tuesday night in there?
It's
Because
every Tuesday night. Yes. It's been going on since January last year. So it's been almost 2 years now. Yes. And I can talk more how that even started. I think I
yes,
was one of
please.
the first ones to start a light language room on Clubhouse. And there was more of a guided calling. I was actually in Mount Shasta for solstice that winter of December 2020, right? So COVID started, and had an incredible experience with my husband up there, and we it was in the communication with the beings in Shasta, the Lemurian beings. They were doing some activations, and they basically said that I need to step more publicly with light language and kind of really bring it out there, which was very uncomfortable place and space because light language has been around for a long time, but I think now as we're awakening and really stepping into our true communication, it's it's a big thing to go public with it. And so my friend told me about Clubhouse, and it was really interesting that in the beginning of the first month, I realized many people didn't know what it's about. You don't even know how to talk about it. And so that's why my club is called Soul Communication. I just wanted to have it like open umbrella for anyone to pop in and just be curious. And that's how probably you ended up there, and Fabian and many other beautiful beings that I ended up also meeting through Clubhouse. And one of them is actually Marian MIL Grace. She's a beautiful light language coder. Her art is on Instagram, Marian ML Grace, and together actually founded the Source Language Institute, and we've taught a course in coding. So it's in writing light language, and we're going to have another one, not just in writing, but also opening other forms of communication like speaking, singing, and signing, as well as writing. That's her specialty, in November of this year. So yes, it's incredible. Light language, I call it source language. It actually came to me in the meditation and ceremony where I was shown, when I kind of connected to the frequency, the beginning of all, to the origin, the source. And it said light language is just one way of expression. Source communication, or this frequency of the wholeness of God, or whatever we want to call it, the universe, it comes in, it's a vehicle, right? Through consciousness, through light, through sound. And light language got coined, and I think in the 70s as light language before many knew it as speaking tongues, or glossolalia is actually the official term for it. It's a phenomenon that has been in the history of Earth forever. It's just it went through so many cycles of where it was demonized by the church,
Right.
and many didn't know that it could, that everyone has this gift. And so we can talk more about that, but it's open for everyone.
So beautiful. And if you just, I just noticed some people pop on. Hello, Angel, David, and Stacia, and Maria, and Shipra. Welcome, everyone. Please feel free to share this out. I'm so excited. I was just saying to Deanna about the show tonight. She has a club every Tuesday in Clubhouse, because I know some of you are in Clubhouse. And please check her out. It's amazing. Um, so I was looking, you're also with Ripple. Is it Ripple Love? Ripple Love?
Love Ripple, yes.
Yes, you're so busy.
Yeah, Love Ripple. Well, Love Ripple has been kind of, I would say, overarching umbrella. It's my mission.
Right.
It's in my awakening journey, when I started realizing who I am, where I come from, and what's my calling. And I come as a starseed. I come from a Lyran system. That's my origin. So I remembered my whole galactic story
Mhm.
as a Lyran being. And Lyrans, for those who don't know, very similar to the beings we see in the movie Avatar, which are really tall, about like 9 foot or so, and they have this pointy kind of ears, so almost like elven ears, and feline type of features, but they are humanoid. So Prism of Lyra is actually where human consciousness or consciousness in this galaxy actually started, by founder beings called Elohim. And then they were looking to figure out how to manifest themselves from etherical form into a physical form. And they were using a form of lions that came from another universe. And through so many thousands and millions of years of evolution, few races were created and hybridized as well. So
Mhm.
it's an amazing story. And then, as probably many know, the story of the Orion Wars, where Dracos attacked the Lyran system, and then Lyrans have spread all over the galaxy, and many of us are Lyrans here, but even Pleiadians and many
Experience.
other races are
Yeah.
actually in origin of all Lyran. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. And you had mentioned about Mount Shasta. Is that where you were woken?
I would say in some
Yeah.
ways I was. My
Mhm.
light language has fully
Ri Okay.
integrated at Mount Shasta. It started, actually, my light language started in Adirondack Mountains, here on the East Coast. But after Burning Man 2019, we went to Shasta, and there's a beautiful place in Shasta, that Stewart Springs, that I think they closed down, unfortunately, due to the pandemic.
Right.
And it's two springs of water, with feminine yin and yang and energies kind of coming together. And so when we were there, my I already kind of was on the journey with light language, but I definitely had some incredible activations in that water. And that's when I say I fully came online. I just kind of had a dimensional experience where everything just came together. My remembrance of self in the avatar body that I just mentioned, the Lyran body, and then my Lyran light language, which is the first language that I started speaking, and then others came through too. Like Draco was another language that started at the same time as the Lyran. My understanding of the light language, source language, is that as we souls that travel throughout the galaxy before we actually were seated here on Earth or volunteered to be here. Many of us volunteered, of course. The language that we usually start with is the language that we remember the most, because we spend the most time in that particular system. So for me, my birth language, my origin was Lyran, so that's the one that I remember the most. But I also knew Draco because I was married into the Draco Alliance. So kind of with that whole galactic history, those two languages came together, which is really beautiful because Lyran is very melodic, and Draco is very different. It's very kind of how you would imagine the beings, very harsh. But it does really beautiful activations of the throat and clearings for people. So in my transmissions, they come in interchangeably. But as I'm evolving, I'm playing in this unknown field of light language in the room. Other frequencies come into in the transmissions, and lately I've been integrating actually my Andromedan self as I spend also lifetimes in Andromeda system, and now my Andromedan codes are coming in my transmissions. Actually, they overtaken the Lyran. I've noticed, like they actually become even stronger because they're higher frequency than the Lyran. So there's so much to learn, but a lot of it
Wow.
is experimental. It's experiential. Like you have to be in that, learn, and through observation you start figuring out which frequencies are coming in, what it is. And so it's been a journey. It's a fun journey.
I have to tell you, David, I read your comment. I'm going to pop this up. He says, so the Lyrans are the ones who got us stuck in these human bodies.
um well, I wouldn't say so. The human experience, the human curriculum, as I call it, is something that got started not just by Lawrence, by Syrians, vegans. There's been a few of them in the Galactic Federation that started this project, the simulation called Human Experience. So we can't just blame the Lyrans, but many of us came from the Lyran system, or in some ways ancestrally, we remember it, and it's in our kind of in our DNA. All these DNA codes within us. We have over 25 different star system DNA codes, which is incredible. Imagine activating all of that. So we've traveled, all of us traveled some.
I just saw your comment, Stacia, and I wouldn't be surprised. She said, my connection keeps pausing. Must be a lot of energy already coming through. It does
which
happen.
which happens too. And I can maybe at some point do a transmission as well. So that would be a lot of energy. There's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
voltage that comes with light language,
Mhm.
because it's really interesting. There's not a lot of scientific information yet on light language, so that's why I started the institute. Besides the courses, I'm trying to do some research as well. And so one research that I've done was to do some aura photography, and so I've done that in Sedona with my husband and I. Before, we were channeling light language, during and after. And it's incredible to see what's happening just in aura alone. Usually aura doesn't change so much unless there's like significant change in your energy field. And the person who was actually doing the aura photography readings, she's been in Sedona forever, so she's seen everything, and she was
Oh, I bet.
amazed because before it was kind of my, I had my Lyran aura, which is a lot of pinks and greens, and kind of that's like based on your more dominant energy field and where you're from, this particular colors that in your field. And then when my transmission started, it all went yellow and red. And it's just like, she was like, wow, who is this? This is another being, this is another person. But your higher self is coming through. And yellow usually stands for higher teacher, higher knowledge. And so you literally bringing in that higher frequency. And it was a journey even for me to, open that up and be comfortable to bring it in. And it's at this point, it's almost automatic. I can flip from speaking English, I also speak Russian and Hebrew, to speaking light language. And that's the practice. Like everything else, we need to, go to the gym and
Yeah.
challenge ourselves to build those muscles. So, and these are the spiritual muscles. We have all of that available.
Um, I wanted to ask you about the website, guys. If you just popped on, she had mentioned you have classes happening at sourcelanguage dot, is it .org? I can't think of
Sourcelanguage.org is the
it.
website. We
Mhm.
have introductory foundational course starting in November. It's a
Yes.
8-week journey
Mhm.
for anyone who is interested in light language, who wants to open up. And I'm running that course with Marian, who's incredible. She is going to be doing what she calls cosmic body attunements, which
Mhm.
opens all your chakras and tuning to the frequencies and your channels, which is really helpful in allowing all these frequencies to come through. And then we go through the four forms of the light language, which is the singing, toning, the speaking, the signing, which is basically moving your hands in the air in a certain way, and the coding, the writing, which is also incredible, because this whole art to light language,
Yeah.
it's like a functional art, activating art. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you find, I know everybody has their own unique way of, like mine was hands and singing. Do you find that it starts out for a lot of people in a certain, format?
What I've noticed is it's different for everyone
Mhm.
depending on their comfort level. Or like for myself, for instance, I'm a more movement type of person. Like I'm a dance teacher, I'm kinesthetic. So for me, it started with movement. So moving the hands and the writing, and the toning actually. I started with just producing sounds without actually any words. And then from there, I started getting comfortable slowly with adding words. And then when that experience, that's what I was telling you about Shasta, when that moment when I fully integrated, then it was just all of it. The writing actually for me was the hardest.
Yeah.
I
It's so intricate looking. I just was wondering when people say
Yeah, it was
that. Yeah.
very hard for me to um, take all these etherical information I was seeing and experiencing and bring it on paper. And so that's is where my friendship and now that we instructors, Marian, very helpful in she helped me. Marian helped me to start the automatic writing and bringing the codes in, and learning the different how these codes are coming in, what they are, and being confident in the information too. A lot of it has to do with our ego and how we try to judge what's coming in, or even like, is this a doodle? Or I'm actually or is this actually a symbol? And
Right.
so a lot of it, or even speaking or moving, like if we step out of our way and allow the information to flow, if we drop back into that innocent, like childlike mentality, and
Mhm.
just play, the easier it becomes. But of course, with all our conditioning, we kind of like start judging. Oh, are we crazy? What is this alien type of sounds that I'm creating? Like you start judging yourself, and that's where you kind
Sure.
of the resistance comes in.
Right.
So a lot of it is really uh, allowing and opening, and when your egoic self steps aside and you just um, allowing that flow to happen, then that's what the magic is.
Yeah. I wanted to say, you had mentioned earlier about yellow often meaning that you're a teacher. And I just learned that tonight with you, Stasia. She says, I have a lot of yellow in my aura, and I always thought it meant I was happy and full of joy. I
Yeah,
thought, I didn't associate that to actually being a teacher, and that's interesting because I thought the same thing you did, Stacia.
yeah. But
Mhm,
if you think about it, the
mhm.
higher self, the teacher, is happy and full of joy.
Yeah,
It is for
exactly.
them from the higher frequency of that divine light, and that frequency. When I saw it, my experience was I saw it as a golden actually codes in my
Mhm.
mind's eye, and this energy wanted just to come through. And first I didn't understand what it is, and then I was like, okay. And when it came through, it was these incredible tones that I never even thought I could ever produce. I had so many limiting beliefs about my, a lot of us, especially females, about the throat and expression.
Right.
And I had the story that I can't sing, I can't do any of these things. So when these tones came out, it was almost like I was an observer of the experience, and it was a very beautiful transcendental type of experience. And when it stopped, I was like, wow, what was that? I want more of that. And how do I connect to it so I'm fully present and it's not like just it taking over me. And that was my kind of initial journey. Then I started connecting to it and working with it, and the codes and the colors and everything that comes with it. Because if you think about it, my favorite quote by Nikola Tesla is, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
I love that.
So everything is
Yes.
energy, frequency, and vibration, and it is the vibrational molecules that we are in etherical way. We are just created in that different vibrational bandwidths. And then how do we tap to them, right? How do we open up to for them to come in, as we are divine instruments here to ground these energies and anchor them for Mother Earth in her awakening process. So a lot of my work is actually grid work. So I do a lot of activations of different spots on Earth, power places and not power places that call me. And light language has been essential now in activating those areas. And I've worked with energy for many years, but when light language opened up, it's just in- uh, the understanding of sound and what sound can do and how deeply it can penetrate all the way to DNA level, and what it can align and change and activate. It's been incredible. And I'm still learning, but it's, people don't need to understand, and they just feel it. It's all about the feeling. You can't even translate it directly, and you shouldn't, because it's multidimensional in nature. It's not like a linear language where you like, you know English and you know exactly what it means. One word can mean so many things.
Right, right. I wanted to ask you, I I started looking at your pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I love your life. You're just living so carefree with you and your husband. And I saw the ceremony. Oh my goodness, that was
Well,
beautiful.
I wouldn't say carefree consciously.
Yes, yes, it was just so
Consciously, it's very
beautiful.
different. No, we kind of dance in the 3D, 5D, and in between.
I
It's
love
it's
it.
not carefree, and we're parents too, so you can't be carefree. I
Oh,
wish
perfect
that was
sister.
the old life. And yeah, it's just a conscious choice to see life as a ceremony, and we're on a mission. It's a sacred mission of what we need to be doing here on Earth right now, and many of us are. And if we really tap into our high calling and our purpose here, it becomes it becomes constant work in some way, but it's a divine work, so it doesn't feel like the real work. It feels very fulfilling. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I just was just enjoying your pictures the other day. I'm like, wow, wow. So when you started the institute, is that something that they go physically or to your institute, or would they go online? I'm just curious if people are close to you. Mhm,
Yeah, no,
mhm,
that's a great question. Right
mhm.
now, everything is online. We're
Okay.
still in the kind of pandemic phase. The
Right,
institute started during pandemic,
right.
and also I'm on the East Coast. Marion is on the West Coast, so that's the beauty of Zoom, that you can
Mhm.
you can you can facilitate these experiences on Clubhouse, on Zoom, and they're just as powerful. Sometimes some of the frequencies get lost in a transmission just because of the sound quality. And of
Right.
course, in person, it's very different.
Mhm.
But it's still possible. And we've done a couple of courses already, and we've taken people on these 8-week journeys, and they've been really successful. So Zoom, is manageable, especially when people in different parts of the world. And I had someone who found me from a little town on YouTube, from this girl from a little town in
Oh,
Vietnam. In
oh,
Vietnam, like really small little poor village kind of place, and she knew what she was looking for. And then it's all about resonance, right? She just
right.
knew that it was me and that I'm supposed to help her. And she turned out to be a Lyran with beautiful, beautiful light language. Yeah.
I love that. I love stories like this because I've seen that from a lot of the guests that have come on, and they've said ever since the pandemic, they've been able to birth something out of that, like you've done. That's just beautiful, and it's so so nice to hear. With all the things on social media, that such beautiful divine creations are being created out of the situation, and many people that don't have access to, say, like Reiki training, they're like, someone contacted me. Um, I have you on here. I should tell you. Hold on. I just throw you up. Um, Being online is so wonderful for people because not everybody has access to these resources and they can reach out to you. And can I say with Zoom, I just had Dr. Margaret Paul on. She's 83 years old. She used to travel everywhere. Now she's just so in love with Zoom because she can have translators in different rooms translating. And
Oh,
I never
wow.
even thought about that. She taught me. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful for a class in different classes to break off with different
Yeah,
translators.
I'm very tactical person. So in the summer, I love being out in festivals and teaching workshops in person. I have to
That's what I
say, like
thought. Yeah.
that sometimes you just want to like give that hug to the person and really have that
Yeah.
connection. So sometimes that is definitely missing, but it's possible. But there are some things like, for instance, QHHT, that quantum healing hypnosis, the technique by Dolores Cannon. I actually still follow her recommendation, which is to do that in person. Like
In person.
I have not done Zoom. I know some people are. I feel there is some risk with that. So Dolores has always said, do that in person. So there's some things you can bring online and have
Some
it
things.
over Zoom, and some things maybe not so much. Like I wouldn't do a ceremony on Zoom, and I know some people are. So, it's just different experiences and what people can handle.
And if you were to say, let me first, I should go back into Clubhouse. I got to get used to doing this. It's resetting the room. Let me go back in the Clubhouse, reset the room. I see some people just joined us, and welcome. If you're just joining us, my name's Lisa Huber with the Divine I Am Broadcast Network, and you're listening to the very lovely and extremely talented Deanna Divine. She's live now on that link pinned above on the YouTube. And we're here to talk about, or she is, connect to your source language. And she has a Source Language Institute, guys. And she has a clubhouse every Tuesday in Clubhouse. And I highly recommend checking that out. That's how I met her.
Yeah, and it's called soul communication.
Soul Communication in Clubhouse, guys, every Tuesday. I just want to check if you're on stage. Did anyone have any questions for Deanna? You can flash your mics if you do. And if anyone has any questions, I'm checking in the feeds for YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Twitch. If you have questions, guys, this is your time to ask, because this is for you, this show, to ask questions. I don't like to just take over. I just want everyone to, jump in. Let me see, Terry. Nope, not no. Okay. So, if you were to say, what would be the best way to start out with light language? What would you suggest? And
That's a
then,
great
Mhm.
question. Yeah, I think just getting comfortable with sound. So I find you can just like take a walk in nature, be by yourself, or sit in meditation and just start humming.
Mhm.
So there's something about this is one of the exercises we usually start with.
Mhm.
But when you start humming for 5 to 10 minutes, you start opening pathways and connecting to your third eye and allowing that channel to just through sound to open up. So and some people find it really interesting that when they take showers and they sing, they also experience some, energy, some tingling. So that's a good start. Like just opening your vocal expression. The thing with the shower is that it's the water. The water itself is a conductor for the
Yeah.
energy, whether you're in the bathtub. A lot of people, I've been on this one clubhouse where a person was channeling and she was in the bathtub. And I found that amazing. but it helps. um, you don't have to be in the body of water, but it does support it. Does support be in nature, and nature talks. So as I started opening up to source language, I would go on these walks, and that's when I start connecting to the fairies. Like if you just
I
listen
love
and
that.
then you try to communicate and produce sounds. Then you touch a tree and you put your forehead in it, and the tree has a language too. And then you connect to the grass and the mycelium network to the mushrooms, and they have a sound and they have a language too. And it's all frequency. And so we kind of emulating these different vibrations, the different frequencies that I hear, and we try to connect and speak to them. So, for instance, fairies, they're very playful, and and they're very so they have language kind of goes like this.
I
That's
love it.
that's fairies. They very playful. I always like have a huge smile on my face when that transmission comes through. So the elemental energies. So there's various types of light languages. So we have the galactic.
Mhm.
So the galactics usually bringing in some sort of information, kind of deeper information about evolution, purpose, just about humanity. The Galactus, of course, is just all the star seeds. So various languages, and depending on also your soul and where it traveled. Then you have the angelics, and the angelic kind of frequency band a little higher, I would say, than the galactic, and those usually come in through a song.
Mhm.
And the angelic usually comes in to either smooth the frequencies. So if the galactic is usually like relaying information in big um, packages of information, like I see them as quantum packages, and then they're just like little bombs, and there's so much there. And then angelics is usually singing, and they smoothen out the field with the voice, with the song, with the frequency, and they're there to heal and just open the heart. So those are the kind of the angelics, and this, various levels of angels too. Depends who's working, like Elohim, Seraphim, and others. And then I mentioned the elementals, and we have also the dragons.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I went into the dragon world. I remember in the kind of, I would say, half in the beginning of my light language journey, when I visited my friend, and she works with dragons a lot, and she asked me, she's like, "Is this something for me?" And then this dragon kind of showed up in my mind's eye, and I was like, "Oh yes, there is," and it was my body actually started shaking and convulsing because
Mhm.
that energy was just so intense for me to even go into that transmission and bring it in. So I got to know the dragons, and even kind of morphed into one for my friend. So that was really powerful transmission, because even though you're the divine instrument, and you're the channel for the information with the highest intention really matters, and you bringing in the purest light and love, and that's the intention you carry when you open your light language channel, because it's through your higher self, right? And whoever listens to it, they'll only receive what needed for them. Their higher
Right,
self is the filter. And so if it's too much, the higher self will just filter it out. Like they're just not going to be ready for it.
right,
And so yeah, so the dragons, they will, it's different frequency, like the dracos. The dracos of language is, it's like more intense, so it's a dragon. But yeah, so there's different elementals, and then there's earth languages like Native American and others. So I know many, when they start channeling light language, they start singing Native American songs and they've never heard before.
right.
So, like, where's that coming from, right?
Yes.
So that's really incredible.
Have you ever channeled, or sang for, Mantis people? I'm just curious.
I have not, but I
Yeah.
have heard. I have a friend, he does like kind of this like whistle. Um,
Yes.
yeah, mine is very it's very interesting, because I was born in Soviet Union,
Mhm.
and we have very strong R's in our vocabulary. And so my mom actually had to take me to like a speech therapist to roll my R's.
Mm-hmm.
And now I understand why I was supposed to go through that human experience, because a lot of the R's in Lyran language are all like, a lot of them is rolling. So here
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
demonstrate.
Yes, please. I
I'll
want to do that.
demonstrate. It's very yeah, this is something that I started doing this last year.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
That's like opening a portal without the
Yes.
R.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Oh, because I'm rolling my tongue a lot. I've done that all my life.
Yeah.
And someone did tell me, yeah, I have Lyran, and I see that in my family now that, sometimes we're doing that. That is amazing. And that's
Yeah, we use a lot of R's in language.
mm-hmm.
And the R, like the way I'm seeing it, sometimes it's like to open things. Like,
Right.
so, because when I see my hands move, they all
Mm-hmm.
like, it's like to open and then like shift things around. It's like a dominant kind of, how should I say? It's like a dominant keyword for everything.
Oh my goodness. Oh, David said, lots of clicks that I heard from Mantis
Yes,
transmission. That's
very
mhm,
a lot of clicks. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have connection with Mantis beings so much myself,
mhm.
but the clicks really resonate. I mean, all of the languages resonate, especially when we play in the soul communication room. Like we go into group
Yeah.
transmissions, and it's just everyone's kind of piggybacking off like this orchestra of sounds, and
Oh,
it's
it's beautiful.
just so universal. Yeah,
It's
and there's
beautiful.
this like deep not knowing, like we have dialogues
Mhm,
in them. And I can say my family too, my kids speak light language now too,
mhm,
and they kind of opened up to it very quickly,
mhm,
especially the little one. It's just like if you give them the permission slip and that this is possible, it becomes part of their life. My 9-year-old speaks to the cat
I
all the time
love
in light
that.
language. It's
Oh!
just like I pick him up from school, and he makes a lot of sounds, and a first timer on Earth. So he's born in 2013. I was carrying him in 2012. So I went through my my journey with him, and these rainbow children, this new frequency. Yeah, they just already come in with that
Yes.
frequency bandwidth, and
Mhm.
the sound clicks and the clicks he makes, like dolphin sounds and all kinds of sounds that I can't really make. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much, but he loves. Yeah, he's the
Tuna
sound
money,
effect
tuna
guy.
money. I love that. Oh, Jesper just said, "Hi, Jesper." Oh, let me just pop your comment up. He said, "I instantly saw when you did that transmission. I'm instantly seeing different kinds of Lyran and big cats with that transmission that you did. That was powerful."
Yeah, that transmission, I would say opened up only like half a year ago, and it's literally like when I do it, I can see like a portal, and it's like connecting to all the Lyrans. In that moment, it's just because of my heritage and who I am, and
Mhm.
I was a princess in the Lyran system, and so it was just I think I have access to those codes, and they still opening up, like I said, with Andromeda and cones now kind of infused into it. It's fascinating. To every time there's something new, like you just never know what else is gonna surprise you. But this one is, yeah, this is the first time I've done it live actually like this, so this is fun.
Oh, it is. It's so much fun because it's confirming, I'm sure, for a lot of people that hear sounds in their head or that say things. Wow, I've done that. And I appreciate so much that you're here doing this because this is one of the reasons why when I came into that room, I'm like, I love it. Everybody has their own sounds they're saying, and it was just like it was like an orchestra, a symphony. Beautiful.
Yeah, and we all hear with our unique frequency, right? We
Mm-hmm.
come from different rays of light and expressions of the source, and so even two Lyrans would not be the same,
I was
even
gonna
though
ask. Okay.
this different like dialects. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like English, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
just went down to North Carolina and my kids were like, oh, why are they speaking so slow and this and that. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's the dialects, and also where, you know, this the soul has been, and just our specific uniqueness, and each one of us unique. So but there's similarities, like we recognize each other, obviously, like the Lyrians, the Arcturians, like we have those qualities that in some ways us are what people are saying they should be. You know, we kind of have the specific purpose of why we're here and what we bring, but we still, that uniqueness is still there. And so with sounds, so I totally encourage you to play and produce all
Sure.
these sounds, because they are needed here. What we're doing through the sound, you know, as they say in the Bible, the world was created with sound, with the first word. And
Yes.
as we bring in these frequencies into this reality, we literally shift in this reality as well. And we help in, you can go to a body of water. I do that a lot, like with the ponds and rivers and oceans, and activate the water with light language. This is what they used to do during Atlantean times in ancient Egypt. I remember this clearly. That's where I came, and in the pyramids as high priest. And I was high priestess in Saqqara. That we work with water quite a lot. We activated the molecules with the language and with the vibration, and then we would drink the water, and we bless the water and give the water. So water is also works amazing with the sounds, with the light language.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say when you said, it's a conductor. That's what I was
Hmm.
told with my spirit guides. I'm in the tub, and I kid you not, one night my husband was in there because he was telling me something. He's sitting on his cell phone on the throne next to me. And I'm in the tub, and sorry for the visuals, guys. And I'm sitting there, and I saw orbs with a single bright white light just file in. They were about maybe 6 inches in circumference, and they just filed in to check us out. I said, "Do you see this?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" I go, "They just filed in front of you," and I felt they were mer people coming in to
Mm.
check what was going on, and we were just having a conversation, and I'm sitting there in my Epsom salts. But if I don't see them, usually I see things. I do get the audible. I hear, and I was just wondering, what do mer people sound? What do you connect with them? What do they sound like for you?
The Lemurian ones. That's, you had Fabian over, so she's more like, I feel, the Lemurian. Yeah, there's a lot
Mhm,
of zh sounds. So,
mhm.
so yeah, let me see. Zhe, jan, jian, jia, jakan, jar,
Yeah.
ti, jigan, da, ja, kinta, jin, di. It's not my like native, but I do
Yeah,
have a little bit of the Lemurian frequency too.
yes,
And so, yeah, it's really my experience with the Lemurian beings. Like as I mentioned, Shasta, it's just so loving and
yes.
so in the heart, and very much the Mu civilization worked with water quite a lot, and of
Mm,
course crystal technology as well.
mm,
And they really understood the nature of connection and nature of working with the frequency. They were here in the Pacific basin, like in the Pacific Ocean, activating the
mhm,
water and putting all the consciousness information into the water. So
mhm.
that's why you have Hawaii, you have
Oh,
uh,
yes.
the all the, you know, the Fiji Islands. You have the Fiji water, by the way, is incredible. If you were to really decalcify your pineal gland and remove aluminum, I would definitely recommend to just drink Fiji water for like a month and see the difference. It's something about that water coming from that volcanic location, but yeah, this
Fiji
some
water.
magic. Yeah, the
Oh, I
Fiji
am
water.
on that, guys. Fiji water, guys. Help,
Yeah, I
especially
they should pay me for the marketing,
I
but no,
know.
it's we've been using it like just for even decalcification and kind of expansion. But yeah, all also, I was in New Zealand years ago, and I felt this like deep connection, and not so much in Australia, because I lived in Australia too. But for me, it was New Zealand, and I think it's the Maori people and the connection there, and to the land, to certain frequencies there too. But it's all part of that Lemurian Mu civilization and their work that they've done here, and this is in concurrence with that Atlantic civilization. Um, yeah, they really beautiful beings.
That is so awesome. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, you said when you married into the Draco, how did that work?
So, yeah, it was from my recollection, from the galactic history of
Mhm.
my story, which is confirmed by others, and I don't know if Prism of Lyra, if that book by Lisa Royale mentions this at all, but I did read it somewhere else. But anyways, yeah, my recollection is that when the Draco actually invaded the Lyran, it wasn't like an immediate thing right away. And initially, the Draco system was next to Lyran system. So Lyrans were all about peace and love and
Right.
service to others. And the Dracos were actually from a different universe, and they were more about service to self. There is castes within the Dracos, so like the dragons were more benevolent, and they were not so much involved in this. The Draco that I'm talking about are kind of more like the reptile type that we see, more kind of warrior caste. And most of those castes were actually led by queens, which is really interesting, not by males but by females. And so they came to the Lyrans on the pretense that they want to be friends and they want to
Mhm.
exchange some technology. They had actually much more advanced spaceship technology and time warp technology that the Lawrence had ships, but we were not as advanced. And so, the Lawrence was so naive. So
Mhm.
kind of runs a little bit in the Lyran kind of genome where there's a little bit of that naivety unless you went through a lot of experiences and you know better. But sometimes it does show itself like in the relationships that we get into and how we want to heal and help everyone and mother everyone. And in the end, we learn the lesson. That's all kind of goes
Oh, yes.
all the way back to the beginning. And
Mm.
so we yeah, so we started kind of being friends with them, but what Dracos really wanted, they were not interested in being friends. They just wanted our resources. And the Lyran system had a lot of beautiful planets, a lot of like lush green waterfalls and lakes that I can recollect, and green forests. And so they, not too far from how Earth is, in some ways, like the movie Avatar, in some ways, not that close, but there is some resemblance. And so, but very connected to nature, right? And then the Dracos were, yeah, they were like offering this diplomatic alliance to have some royalty intermarry. And that was just another, and this is where my story comes in, where
Mhm.
I was one of those royalties and I was married by force kind of a bit into this alliance. And then what I remember that I actually was on one of the Draco planets, and I was there for a bit of time and just couldn't stay. Like everything frequency wise about that system did not align with me, and I escaped. Um, and when I just got to Avalon, where one of the planets that I'm from, and the invasion started. And some Lyrans were able. I mean, it was like mass genocide.
Mhm.
Some Lyrans were able to escape, very close to the epic story of Star Wars.
Right.
That's it's interesting how Hollywood portrays and how that information comes about and why many of us have resonance with it. But the Empire, right?
Right.
That's Dracos, and they used laser technology and other technology, and ambushed on foot too. And so, but I remember some of us were able to escape, and we jumped on the spaceships that were available, and that's how many we're kind of just like in Star Wars, running away from the Empire across the
Mhm.
galaxy and hiding and creating new civilizations. The Pleiadian system, for instance, is really far away from like the Lyran Draco system. If you just look at the sky, so many made their way all the way to the Pleiadian system, and they actually tried to forget and not remember anything, and so they went really into the light, but
Mhm.
not integrating the darkness of the ancestors. And at some point in their evolution, they had to also face that as well. So yeah, they went everywhere really. The Lyrans went all across the galaxy, and then many of us are here too. But many of us didn't just come directly from that timeline. We had experiences somewhere else. Many in Sirius system, Pleiadian system, Orion system. By the time we actually got here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and if you saw that, David said some Lyrans went to Sirius. I
Yeah,
believe.
Sirius was a
Yeah.
big hub. It's I would say it's like many call it like the spiritual school. Many of
Mhm.
us went through Sirius, and in order to actually come to Earth and descend, so you know, descent here is took a lot.
Right.
It required a sort of training, and so many of us went through Sirius for that type of frequency training to even be able to come to Earth. And because, many of us had to awaken, but it took time. And
Yeah.
here we are, many
Yeah.
incarnations later.
Guys, if you being here on this planet, you're rock stars for being here. You're
Yes,
rock
you
stars.
are a
And
student.
yes.
Thousands of years of training. So, I mean, seriously, like thousands of years of training to come down here. Only on not for faint-hearted. That's for sure.
For real. And, I just told my husband, I said, he goes, "Boy, you love to sleep." I go, I've always been this way." And it's almost like I go into comatose because my spirit guys are going, I can see them take their foot and shove me back into my body. They got work to do. Yeah, it's,
Yeah, and the dream time now is becoming also very interesting for many. Like
mhm.
as the veil is thinning. Dream time sometimes is not dream time anymore. It's more like
No.
astral travel and parallel realities and all the fun things. And yeah, so for me, source language is like everyone was talking about, telekinesis, telepathy. um, Really, I feel source language is kind of the next thing in evolution, wherever you are in,
Yes.
your journey, your awakening journey. Because as you connect to your original language, then you're able to connect even deeper to the truth of who you are and where you came from. It kind of goes together. It just opens so many new doorways of understanding of self.
Right. Let me just take a moment. I've been scanning the feeds, guys, to make sure if I missed any questions, please feel free because I just realized we're coming to the end of the show already, and I'd hate to have anybody have a question and go like I do. Oh, wait, I had a question long after I met with somebody. Let me just check on in Clubhouse. If you have any questions you'd like to ask Deanna, please feel free to flash your mic, guys. I'm looking. I want to say welcome into Julia and Elisa. And I see you, Tara Lynn. Yay. And Justice, welcome. And Fabian, I see you down there.
Hi,
I'm so,
Fabian.
so happy to see you. Oh, my goodness. She was on last week like a powerhouse with just light language. Just, oof, I loved it. Let me just see if anybody's flashing their mics. I don't see anybody flashing mic, but I do know they get stuck sometimes, but I'll just keep looking. So, and I wanted to ask in that group in Clubhouse, time frame would you be?
Yeah, we also the club is always open. The room is open at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 5
Okay,
p.m. Pacific.
okay,
Every Tuesday we're there. It's Soul Communication. So yeah, please drop in, and
yes, guys.
as you just even hanging out in the audience, you're already getting activated, or something in you starts changing the more you listen to
Mhm.
light language, and every time you do, like, yeah, there's this resonance within you that is happening. And I would love to do a short transmission as we close the room as well. And always, when you receive this, know that it needs to also kind of metabolize and digest in your system, so to speak, frequency wise, because it kind of hits your blueprint, and then it takes time to integrate. And the integration sometimes takes 24 to 48 hours. It's really good idea to drink a lot of water and
Yes.
hydrate, because we get in so many energy updates now, like upgrades from solar flashes to everything else that's happening. So hydration is key, because we want to keep on expanding and unpeeling layers. Yeah, and
Mhm.
just really being really adaptable and in the flow.
You no sooner I tell you, David, you're really mind reading over here. He said, "Would we possibly be able to hear a transmission?" Right when you said, "I'm gonna do a transmission," I'm like, "Oh." And Jesper
Yes.
did have a question. I'm gonna pop this up. He did say, "Do you see the species like the whales, etc., popping into our Earth reality through learning to manifest their soul in physical?"
So the whales are here also doing their work. They're from the Sirius system, and as they sing their songs, the sonic
Beautiful.
songs in the waters of the ocean. So they literally keep in the grids through harmonization of the waters. Their work is super important for it's another type of grid work they're doing, and super evolved beings, so are the dolphins, and they're very conscious. So it's absolutely true. Like and that's why they come in sometimes in transmissions. But it's we all connect to them deep because we know that they are part of this collective work that we're doing together.
Oh, I love them so much, and my husband loves dolphins like crazy. Like, he's like, "I forgot my binoculars," when we go to the ocean because he wants to see them. He gets disappointed if we forget those, so
Yeah, and dolphins also remind us again about playfulness, right? The key to
Mhm.
all of this is
Love 'em.
like dropping into being a kid and in the
Mhm.
innocence and the playfulness, and which that joy, the yellow
Yeah.
color, the joy and the happiness, and to we're here to elevate all that suffering, this illusion of suffering and separation, to unity, and in the unity and community, we feel that happiness in our heart, and that's why I love light language and source language,
Me
because
too.
when we connect in that type of way, this huge heart opening happens always. Like it's hard not to smile
It
because
is,
it's
it
just
is.
so pure.
It's absolutely beautiful, guys. It is, and, yeah, I would love to have you back sometime. Maybe if you have students or, friends maybe that would love to come on and we could do that symphony again. Oh my goodness, I love it, what
Yeah,
you're offering. It's
we can
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, we can few of us can come in and see what we can weave together.
Yeah,
Uh,
because oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah, it's always a pleasure. So I think we are here all to help each other and activate each other, and just remind uh, your soul, your true potential. And so, like I said in the beginning, like
Yeah.
it's not like back in the days. It was like, oh, this person is gifted, this person
No,
has
not
it,
at all.
and I'm just here to tell you, no, you have it.
You
It's
have
all
it.
with it's all within you. If you on in this clubhouse right now, on this podcast, listening to this, whether they're on YouTube or whatever platform you're on, your soul, your higher self brought you to listen to this message, so that you start remembering that 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 is within you. And so I super encourage you to open up and see what flows out of you. You never know.
And let's have fun. That was so
let's
much fun.
let's have
Okay.
fun. So with that said,
Mhm,
let's do like a quick
mhm, mhm,
transmission, because I
mhm.
know we're out of time. So I invite you to just take a deep breath into your heart. Just tune to this present moment and just feel your feet on the ground, to feel groundedness in your being, in being here, as we are grateful. I'm grateful to be on the Divine I Am, and divine is part of my name. So we
I
are
love it.
here to embrace the divine and who we are, and the bigger I am, right? It's part of
Mm-hmm.
the source. Kurkiara chint inch ant arkuarkia ijik ant shututiarkia uchtujikinia sia watitijikia tu art ant inch ust ant int ust ia watia arrushima ishushikia ik ustia puatia Jiantia shikuati jima ituapashia. Shupuan ik arti kukaitik jukutikatikartik matia shu natijik arrukuchara timanuashipa ijawatik ust a imuatiata. Nasatiatu anatiatuata. Uretianiala tuatinta tititist anyan uta mustati ush awaki ut iustant aratama. Taking a deep breath into your heart, imagining this rainbow of light coming through your crown chakra as you're receiving this light into your third eye, activating your throat, your heart, receiving and remembering, integrating this frequency into every cell of your being, into your DNA codes. Each utiatia shukuatianyasa. Isharakwa amota yawatashata. Just take this moment to integrate, become aware how you feel in this moment. When you're ready, you can rub your hands and slowly come back.
Oh my goodness. I don't know about you guys, but my heart's pounding with joy.
I hope they translated well sometimes with these headphones. Like, I don't know if everything comes through. So I know it gets muted. And so I hope it did come through.
Oh, it was absolutely beautiful. So beautiful. And guys, if you just popped on, please know you can go back and catch the replay on whatever platform you're on. And also, I wanted to say, if any of this resonated, I hope you'll reach out to Deanna Divine. You can contact her at sourcelanguage.org. Everyone's saying thank you so much.
And you can find me on Instagram at Love Ripple Academy. I'm available there as well, and I post. And sourcelanguage.org is more information about our upcoming course that's starting in November. Yay. Thank you, David. Literally vibrating inside. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
That's
so
all
awesome.
the cells starts vibrating, becoming alive.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the
Um,
voltage is really interesting. It always goes up. It's just, yeah, we as dimensional beings, we're always supposed to vibrate really high. So this is just the reminder for our body.
oh my goodness, it has been such a treat having you on. I was
Thank you so
so
much,
excited.
Lisa.
I'd
Thank
love to have you
you.
back on again. I know you're a busy, busy lady. Uh,
No problem. And always drop in on Tuesday. Would love to see you there as well on Soul
I'm gonna
Communication.
I'm gonna be there. That was just like a party. It was like coming home. Coming home. It really was. So I wanted to thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that
Thank
joined us,
you.
replay watchers, podcast listeners. Thank you very much. And yes, oh my goodness, I'm still.
And as a
Oh,
true lion, you of course wear in red colors.
yes, yes,
Now that I
yes.
know you, Larry.
So thank you, everyone. So much love to you all. Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
love,
everyone. Many, many blessings. Please remember to hydrate,
yes.
electrolytes, and yeah, remember that's important.
Thank you, guys. Take care, everyone. Much love. Mwah.
Mwah, mwah,
Bye.
mwah, much love. Kuarata.